logistics. So now we
How to high rise was what I typed into my phone that day. It was pretty crazy.
What's going on, guys? My name is Irvin Angulo, and welcome to the Money and Mindset Podcast. Today we have my little brothers, my business partners, my best friends, Isaiah and Zeriel. Guys, how you doing?
Doing good.
I'm doing good.
Did you mess
These
that
guys
up?
are so nervous.
Very nervous.
As you can tell, they are wearing their Aqua exterior cleaning gear. As soon as we're done with this, these guys are going to run and hang off of 7 stories. That's what we do for a living. We clean windows. We own 2 businesses together, and we're just going to keep going. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to have you on the podcast today because it gives these people a different look. I was talking to a friend recently, and he was like, dude, it's cool that you have all these guys on there, and, you know, they're further along than us. They're millionaires. They got it going on, but sometimes I feel like it's not tangible. And I was like, okay, well, how can we switch this up? And how better to do it than to have us 3 brokies on the podcast talking about what we're doing. You know what I mean?
No, I wanted to just really bad. Like, I feel like we have to capture where our mentality is before we get further along, and just so different and thinking different. I just feel like right now I'm just like everybody else, and I feel like super unqualified, but still like God's making a way for us. And I want people to see like this side of things. You know?
Yeah, for sure. We are 100% unqualified.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand that we don't know what we're doing. Like, guys, what you see here at this table, we don't only like run business together, but we also put this show together. There's only one guy behind the camera today. It's Kanan Hackler Productions. But if you don't know like what it takes to create content, one, I thought it was going to be a lot easier. Remember, I literally bought an iPhone 14 and I was like, boom, let's go.
I was trying to tell you you're tripping.
Money and Mindset Podcast. I thought we had it going on. But after like really sitting down, and it takes 4 of us to put this together, it's crazy. Like, I was so underprepared going into this, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't do it. And the same goes for business. How do we start the business? Isaiah, go ahead and tell them literally, how did that phone call go? Some people don't believe me.
Yeah,
How'd it
so
go?
we were cleaning a house that my mom actually, her client that she's had for over, I think 15 years. And she asked us to clean the windows, and we're there with like rags, just buckets, and just wiping the window down. And we charged him. And I remember just that phone call of like, hey, like, is this a business opportunity? Like, there's money to be made just cleaning windows. And Sudied happened to just, need a vehicle, and Irvin had offered his truck. He said, hey, if you want my truck, I'll give you the truck, and we could start this thing up. And that's kind of where it all
want
started.
to go into that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, I think for some of you guys that don't know, my mom owns an interior cleaning company, and it used to be called Aracelli's Clean and Shine, and that is how we made it through in life. Now, we weren't rich by any means. My mom worked all day to all day. And sometimes wasn't even in the picture as far as, being there late nights because she was working all the time. But yeah, she is an amazing lady. She showed us what entrepreneurship is at its greatest core. Sometimes we think we have it hard, but then I told you guys the other day, we don't have it hard. My mom spoke 0 English, literally had a mop, a broom, and a vacuum, and made ends meet. Like, we do not have it hard. We have new Tacomas. We got big contracts. We got big jobs. We have clients that call us all the time. But yeah, it wasn't easy. When we first started, it was literally a phone call. You guys were finishing up interns here at this church. For you guys that don't know, interns is a discipleship program where you devote 2 years of your entire life here at Capital Church in Meridian, Idaho, a place we call home. And they just grow you in ways you didn't know you needed to be grown in. Now, am I saying like you're going to leave a completely different person, or you're going to leave a pastor? No, but I promise you, you're going to leave 1,000% better. Even when you don't think like, is this internship working?
Yeah.
It's still working. Like, it was always growing us at all times throughout frustrations, throughout, so-and-so isn't here. So-and-so, was never there, whatever it was. It was never about them. It was always about us. And I think that now, as I'm sitting here at this table for the first time, I'm starting to realize, man, internship did have a big impact on us. If it wasn't for interns, we probably wouldn't have started a company.
No,
we probably would have been working at different jobs, but it was because of the wall it kind of pushed us on. We had no choice. We were like, okay, They were coming to an end of interns, and I called them and I was like, what do you guys want to do? They just told me, well, we just made some money cleaning windows. Let's do that. And I was like, okay, well, let's do that. We literally filed the LLC, boom, 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 boom. Literally put everything into the computer, literally minutes. We were on the phone still. And I was like, well, what'd I say? Congratulations, guys. We're now business owners.
It was $33 each.
Yeah,
for $100
$30.
LLC.
Yeah, I was like, send me $30. We're business owners now.
Yep.
We split the cost. It was $100. And yeah, ever since then, we've been running and gunning. It took my little brother some big faith. I gave him my truck, but it wasn't free. I definitely helped him out, but it wasn't free.
No, it wasn't.
He had to take a lot of money out of his pocket and start investing into this truck. That way we can even start our business, which I thought was amazing. Speaking of that a little bit.
Yeah. So with that whole thing, we're working with my mom, like folding grown man's underwear, just like humility at its like finest.
Cleaning toilets.
Yeah, cleaning toilets. And I just remember like driving back with my mom, and I was just so fed up with everything. I just left a roofing job that like was great, but
we were all working together.
We're all working at Signature Roofing.
I still work there. I'm a sales
Irvin
manager
still
there.
works there, but just wasn't for us. And we like jumped out of it. Just felt like God was calling us out of that. And clearly he was, just based off of like what's happened up to this point. But driving home, talking to my mom, and I'm kind of sitting in the back, just like pretty much stressing about like my situation. Like, am I going to continue cleaning people's houses? Like, I don't have a vehicle right now. I'm driving in the back of my mom's Prius. Like, just felt fed up with everything. And I was kind of sitting there. I just started praying to myself. And then out of nowhere, like, so Irvin brought up the idea of like taking over his truck, which was just like a joke, I felt like at the time. And my mom out of nowhere like said, hey, you should get that truck. And I was really thinking, and honestly, I'm not one to like care for trucks. When have I ever talked about like a 2020 Tacoma? I feel like
none of us ever have.
Yeah, I feel like it's a dream truck for some, but for me, it just didn't mean anything. And it was a weird like dilemma I was in, because
now he drives a 2023 Tacoma.
Yeah, just got upgraded.
Yeah, so I was just like sitting there like, this isn't something I want, but like I just didn't know what to do. I honestly wanted like an old school RAV, like just the most phony car ever. It was probably gonna break down in like two years or something, you know? So yeah, I was sitting there and I just started hearing like voices, you know. I heard other sides, like I out of nowhere, I like considered.
I was trying to get voices. I was trying to get him to get a little coupe like me.
I was hearing voices.
I was out his ear telling him, "Don't get the truck. Don't get the truck. You can't afford it."
I had two people who were praying for me, and just, you know, I think God put them in my life, and then like the rest of the world telling me another side. And what it was Irvin and my mom telling me like, you know, have a little faith, get this truck that you can't afford. And then the other world is saying like, this isn't worth it. Yeah, the truck's cool, but you're not going to like the payments or whatever. And like Isaiah included, like people that loved me, but I just don't think God had in my life at the time to like pour into me. Yeah. And it was just the familiar voice that I had when I like gave my life to God. It was the same voice that I heard to like get the truck, even though it's something I didn't desire. And I honestly was afraid that people were going to think I was making a bad financial decision just because like, oh, I'm a young kid that wants the new Tacoma truck, which is like something I never desired. Yeah. And, you know, one thing led to the other, took a leap of faith, got the truck that I could not afford. And then God just made a way. Like, have not missed a payment, have not, you know, struggled financially since that point forward. And it's just crazy what God will do with like a little bit of faith.
Yeah.
Know?
I really want to piggyback off of that. Pastor Ken on Sunday spoke a word, and he used a scripture, according to your faith, so be it. Now, what does that mean? According to your faith, so be it. It means that according to your faith, I'm going to make a way for it to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, God has always been faithful. Mm-hmm. He's the author. He's the creator. He's the one from the beginning to the end. Like, God has always been faithful. He sent his son to die on the cross. That, like, he has always been faithful to us. But he's saying, according to your faith, so be it. So if you believe for it, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
His promises are yes and amen. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in the idea of, man, God, how are you going to make a way when he's literally telling us, according to your faith, so be it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. God is literally saying, don't worry about me. I'm perfect. I'm the end all be all. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about me. It's according to your faith. Like, dude, that is so amazing to me that God has literally taken your small mustard seed faith of, man, God, I can't afford this truck right now, to, oh my gosh, God, we bought this truck. Sudiel's running his company. We're running our company. Mm-hmm. We're using that truck. We just bought a new truck, and then we're in the process of getting a second.
Yeah.
And it's like, one day we're going to think back on that moment, and it was like a one leap of faith, one moment.
It changed so much.
I'll take the truck.
Yeah.
One day we're going to look outside and we're going to have 5. We're going to have 6. We're going to have 7. We're going to have employees running into them, running out of them.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And it was why? Because according to your faith, so be it.
And it grows. Cause like, then I feel like I never had, I mean, besides like giving my life to God and like trying to figure out what that even looks like, I never really felt like what it meant to like take a leap of faith towards your, like what God has put in your heart for like in your desires. Yeah. So like just growing from there, like I've felt that similar like feeling of like, okay, this is a shifting moment in my life where I have to like have a little bit of faith. Don't fully understand it. And like, I never had it up to that point of like, don't fully see it, don't understand it, but like, God, I hear you, and I'm gonna do it. Well, and it's just like, it's growing, and then you kind of get familiar with the voice that you start to hear.
Well, he gives you the desires of your heart. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing is when you're in unison with him, when you're reading your word, when you're worshiping, when you're coming to church, when you're around the right community, what the desires of your heart are the same desires for his.
Yeah.
So plot twist, the desires of your heart is actually his plan.
Yeah.
So that's his plan coming into fruition, which is the craziest thing.
I mean, my desires have changed like completely. Like I remember I didn't want to have anything to do with entrepreneurship or money. Like
you still don't.
Yeah, I still don't. So, but here's the difference. I used to think like money was evil, and I did not see it as a tool. I saw it as like something that would destroy people. And
why is that? Is it because we came from a lack of? Why is it that you thought money like only hurt?
I just thought I think I was so afraid and so insecure to like chase after money that I would make up scenarios in my head that those people aren't happy or those people don't have it figured out just because I was uncomfortable with the idea of going after it or the rat race. Like it was something I never wanted to enter in because honestly I saw myself failing in that area. So I made up, like I put so many walls up to why I didn't want to go after it and why like it was evil, why it was this, blah, blah, blah. Like we're smoking like weed and stuff. And I was just so in a hole of like.
Not recently.
We're just like coming up. Yeah, not recently.
Wait up. Let's acknowledge that there is a moth and it'll probably be floating around throughout the entire episode. Get over it. We killed its brother. We couldn't get this one. Yeah. That's funny.
But even before we even got the opportunity to take the truck, I just remember when we were in our house, all Sudied was asking for was like mentorship. Like, hey, we need to surround ourselves around people that are going to lead us, that are going to prune us, and then make us, better people. And this was way before like any kind of financial gain he had. This was way before any like idea or inkling that he could grow in an area without doing it himself. And I just remember like at that time, our friends, just our group, we surrounded ourselves with people who thought they knew exactly what they wanted, thought we knew exactly how it was going to happen. And then at the end of the day, we just were complacent. We just sat still, did almost nothing every day. We would try to draw up plans and it would go nowhere just because we were just affirming each other's ideas of we're going to be big when we had no fruit and no seeds being planted. And it made no sense. Movement. It was a self-destructing cycle.
And I hope like, I'm not saying this, we're not saying this to like just bash on those kinds of people, but like we were those people, and I hope we could relate to you and almost get you out of that rut of just making up stuff in your head, like creating this world where it's gonna happen for you without doing anything. Just because you're above it or just because you want it enough, it's gonna happen for you. But want it, know how to get it, those two things don't do anything if there's no like foot being stepped or like taking steps forward.
And I think that's cool but also you now have to be the example for those friends. I know you guys, obviously you're my little brothers, and you love those friends still dearly. They're still some of your best friends. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of hope, but that was the position I was in, being your guys' older brother. Like the same way you guys view your friends is the same way I viewed you at one point. I was like, man, my little brothers are just being complacent.
Yeah.
They're just smoking weed. They're doing mushrooms. They're drinking. They're doing this. They're doing that. That's literally what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about it. That's what they were doing. They were just lost in the world and what it could offer.
Yeah.
And then there was a moment where I was now starting to find success. And I was like, dang, like I'm not only now chasing wealth as far as money goes. What I've noticed is God has so much in store for me. Finances is the bottom of the barrel. Like he has been blessing me in family, in my wife, in relationships.
Yeah.
Like literally the last thing I can care about at the moment is finances.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying, the same way you guys view your friends is the same way I viewed you. So just know that when you guys saw me and I was like constantly working hard and constantly trying to affirm you guys that, hey, there's more to life than what you're doing right now. It is now your turn to do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I do remember you coming over, and I remember it's so crazy because we were just all smoking weed at the time, and it was so normal to us. We thought we could just...
I was not smoking weed. I came over.
Yeah, Irvin wasn't. But we just like put everything away to hide it so that Irvin, would show up and he wouldn't see any of it. But it's like the smell
You can't hide
lingered.
the smell.
Yeah, the smell lingered, and I was so blind that it's just so obvious how much we were weighted. There's a weight on us. And I thought I could just hide it, put it away. And that's kind of how I feel about my insecurities. It's like, man, I just try to hide all the insecurities when people come in and try to not even set me straight. It's more of like encourage, grow, prune. And it's like, I try to hide those things away, but it's so crazy that the people outside of that, they could see the weight, they could smell it. It's just like a fragrance. And I think that's something like that you captured in us in that moment that, really changed the way I viewed myself, because you told me years later, like, I remember walking in that room that house that smelled like weed. And in my head, I was like, dang, that whole time I thought I was hiding it so well. It's like, no, these insecurities, these things, they linger. They have a smell, they have a fragrance to it that people could, sense and see. And, that heaviness that other people are able to see and like, you just can't see it for yourself. It's like, I want to be around those people that could see that and are able to call it out and bring it out of me, because if not, if it doesn't get called out to the light, it'll always be dark. And that those moments are things that I remember and I'll always remember.
Yeah. I think something that when you're talking about that stuff that I think about is you're not a good friend unless you're calling it out. And I'm talking about sin issues, insecurities, things that are going on around you. Like if you're not calling it out, then you truly don't care for that person. When I called you out on it, and we constantly call each other out.
No doubt.
We constantly call each other out. We are by no means perfect.
Harsh.
We are harsh with each other. If you are my friend and I've called you out, you don't even know how I've called these guys out. And if you're friends with these guys and they've called you out, you don't even know how they've called me out. We set each other straight and pretty quickly. But if you're not calling out your friend and letting them know, hey, live to a higher standard, you don't even love them, dude. If you're just letting your friend sit in the same pattern and walk around and stink, and if you didn't tell him, hey, dude, you stink, like I can smell you, I can sense you, I know what you got going on, you're not a good person to be around. But you allow him to keep going to job interviews, keep going to work, keep going around his family, and you know he stinks, and you didn't let him know. You're a bad friend. Have you ever had a friend like I don't know, he's got bad BO? You let him know, hey bro, you stink. Like go put on some deodorant. It's the same way, dude. You stink. Let's figure it out.
I think it goes both ways though, because for us, it's easy for us to like really come at each other to like address an issue because we all have humility and we don't deal with pride
not
issues.
All the time.
Maybe with
not all the time. We do deal with pride
maybe
issues.
at times
That's a lie. That's a cap. We got pride.
Just understanding like with like Christian values and understanding like what Jesus did for us, and that's what we believe Jesus did for us. Like understanding that part of humility, it's really easy to approach each other. It's harder to just approach a friend that, doesn't have it like that. Doesn't understand the grace that you really do have for them, that you're not attacking their character. You're like really just trying to help. And if someone just comes at you, and you have pride just blinding you, you think they're trying to hurt you when it's not the case.
And there's going to be people listening to this and the pride is still covering them. And they're going to be like, they're talking about me. And instead of being like, oh, they actually do care about me. They do love me. All they're going to hear is like the negative.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're listening to the podcast, don't try to pick out the negative. Like, pick out the positive. Don't just think about the, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. This is exactly about me. No, like, that's not what it's about. It's not about you. Yeah. It's not about you. It's literally not about you. Yeah, it's a message. We're just sitting at a table talking.
We're just trying to figure it out.
We're just trying to figure it out. 100%.
But I feel like humility is what's gotten me where I am today. Like, not that someone would look at my life and be like, oh, he has it, because I don't have it going for me. But
neither do I.
It's just, I find myself with joy. I find myself around great people and just full, in life. Like, I feel full and I feel filled all the time now. When I used to feel so empty, even recently, like I've felt empty, but I have people that pour into me and people that love on me. And I find myself in a position where like I could do whatever I want now. Like I used to put myself in a box, and now it's like the sky's the limit, all cliche, but it's come with who I've surrounded myself with. And honestly, that's why I was so excited for you to start a podcast or just start content, is because not everybody has you as their brother. And I'm 100% not who I am today without you, even without Isaiah. And I think people they want change so bad, but they're not willing to put pride down and come in humility and like let people pour into them, without getting offended or without thinking they think a certain way of you because they called you out for that. It's like, come with humility, and like God will use those people to grow you. Like, that's what's changed my life. I feel like I've done nothing. Like, it's just been a ride for me. And I've just been going like in humility, hopping on someone's back, like with a limp, just wounded. I was like wounded, and there's people out there that are willing to carry you. And if you can't take pride off and jump on their backs or lean on someone, you're not going to move, So that's where I am. I'm wounded, and I just have people that want to carry me, and it's just good. I'm blessed in that way. That's good.
And the cool thing about that is we all carry each other.
Yeah.
Like I look at this table and what we have going on. A lot of people say, don't do business with family. I think that if you do it with the right family, it could be so powerful. And it's not even the right family. As long as everybody has the same vision.
Yeah.
Dude, it's the most powerful thing you can do.
Humility.
It's the most powerful thing you can do. But I'm looking at this group and I'm like, okay, I'm the dreamer, but sometimes I'm not thinking logistics the way Isaiah does.
Yeah.
And Isaiah's thinking logistics, and then you're thinking humility, and Isaiah sometimes struggles with humility, right? And we just got these whole different things. That's not a shot at you. Isaiah's sometimes very prideful.
No, but his chest too much.
But you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'm like loopy, thinking crazy ideas like, no, why can't we? Let's do it. Why can't we? And it's no, we can't. And then you guys put me on your back, and you have to carry me to this line where I'm like, oh, reality check. Sometimes Isaiah's like, no, that can't happen. I'm like, yes, it can. I have to put him on my back and show him that it can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of faith, a lot of trusting. I mean, if we wouldn't be where we are without trusting. Just a few months ago, I was saying it's impossible to hire someone. A couple months go by and I'm looking at the numbers. I said, no, it's completely possible.
Yeah.
All the numbers are saying it's possible.
Shout out Ethan. Shout out Stevie.
Our new guys.
Yeah.
They just got done with their first 2 weeks. They're amazing. But it's just crazy to just start to see the vision come true. And it's just like piece by piece, we all have little pieces that just like grow this picture. And, we could call it a window washing business or exterior cleaning business, but we're just learning how to build. Like at the end of the day, we're just learning how to build.
I like
that. You could apply this to anywhere. It's just learning how to build, whether it's a business, whether it's a group, whether it's like trying to learn how to become leaders. All of us are becoming leaders in very different ways. Yeah. And I think that's probably the best part of watching this all come together. I could say like, I don't care about my cleaning business, but it's so crazy to think like I'm still cleaning. I'm still doing the same thing that I've always been doing. The difference is that there's labels behind it. There's authority behind it. There's leadership behind it. And it's like, I just the other day, we're cleaning another house, the inside, just like my mom, we're cleaning toilets. And I sat there and I looked at Zuri and I was like, man, it's already 10 o'clock. I looked at him. I was like, we should be out of here. And then I sat there and I thought about it. And I was like, man, my mom was coming home at like 1 a.m. Yeah. Why am I to think that I'm so much better than my mom that I deserve to be out at 10, at 9, at 8? And I was just sitting there. I'm like,
that's good.
I need to have the humility of like, my mom was doing this for me all the way until 1 a.m. I can't do this for myself and my business to 10. Like, what am I thinking? My mom is still out there folding people's underwear, and I'm over here thinking I'm too good to sweep and to mop. But it's like the same thing. I'm cleaning still. I'm still that guy that's cleaning someone's home, and it's just crazy that now that I'm put as like this business owner, I think that I should be somewhere else. Like this label doesn't change anything. I'm still a servant.
Yeah. I remember calling Isaiah. Well, we were talking about that, and I was just like, dude, do we really think we're better than my mom? Like, could we actually say that? And it's like absurd that we were even thinking, we should be more home, like, whatever. It's just crazy. Like, my mom is like an angel to me. You know, I hold her like the highest out of everybody I know, and I thought I deserved better. I'm a mama's boy. I love my mama.
The ad-libs, mama. No, one thing that I think people don't understand is entrepreneurship is a sacrifice. Okay, it's not a luxury. And a lot of people get luxury and sacrifice mixed into the loop when you're talking about entrepreneurship. These guys own a business, but they're still out there actively cleaning. They're cleaning windows, they're cleaning toilets. We clean whatever is dirty in your house. Whatever you got going on, we clean it. Want to know why? Because it makes us money. At the end of the day, that's what it is. 1, we can serve, and we love to serve. 2, we love people. 3, we like to make money. So what better way to do it than to start a business? But what I mean by sacrifice and luxury is being an entrepreneur, dude, it's the hard way. There is no clocking out. You're your own boss. You're also your own accountant sometimes. You're your own boss. You're your own scheduler. You're your own assistant. A lot of times, like, this is not easy. When these guys are saying they went to bed at 10, we were up at 5:45 the other morning cleaning an office. I was cleaning an office.
He has no place to be cleaning an office. There's no reason to, yet he still does.
Because of humility.
The humility is still there.
That's something I want to bring up. It's like, you're way more than well off, you know, and still that's the attitude you bring is like, I'm not too good to go clean an office, even though you didn't need that money. That's just who you are. You're setting a pace for us. And I think that's why, like, me and Isaiah have come so far, is because you led by example. And I said this to you a while back, but we're all on the roof together. And where I really started seeing like Irvin's real character show was on that roof when he was working harder than everybody, knowing that he was going to have a sales position in like a few months. Like, he still was working like if that's what he was going to do for the rest of his life. And he was learning like if that's what he was going to do with the rest of his life. And he just was 110% in. And I felt like a phony. I was up there like trying to find, you know, hiding spots to like take a little break and trying to avoid work. And obviously I'm not there anymore, but just watching Irvin have that grind, and it was never a dollar amount or it was never like a motive. He just knew to do what he was doing at 110%. And like, if you hang around him long enough, that's what you'll see everywhere he goes with this podcast, with his marriage, with his relationships. He's always 110% in, and he never like puts things on the side burner, whatever you call it, back burner.
Yeah.
But it's just really sick to see. And you know, I've grown so much in that area just watching you. Like,
thanks. Thank you, bro. I love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. That means a lot. One thing I'm going to say is I was just talking to at-risk youth the other day, and it takes me back to our childhood. We were all at-risk youth. Maybe some of us were worse than others, but I was definitely the worst out of the group here. But I was speaking to these at-risk youth, and honestly, God took me back to like the heydays. Jefferson Middle School, Caldwell, Idaho, Wilson Elementary, Caldwell, Idaho, and just being like the worst kid ever. And I mean, I understand when kids are crazy. Trust me when I say I was the worst kid ever. I got arrested for driving my mom's van. Tried to make her take the blame for it.
11 years old, 12?
Yeah, 11 years old.
We're swinging those doors open, yelling at kids while he speeds off.
I was in the mafia.
We thought we were hood rats. We were doing the most.
We were driving my mom's minivan. I was 11. These guys were, I don't even know how these guys were, like 6, 7. I don't know.
I was young.
And they were opening the van doors, yelling at kids. I'm yelling at kids.
I'm going to get you. We're going to get you.
I'm going to get you. I'm going to hit you. Dude, we're mobbing. I remember pulling up to the house, and I looked so scared because the cops, they were coming.
Yeah.
We knew the cops were coming. And I got out of the car, ran inside, and my mom was in the fridge. Not in the fridge. She was looking in the fridge. I opened the fridge. My mom's no, she was looking in the fridge. And I was like, Mom, please, the cops are coming. Please take the blame for it. I was driving. I was speeding. Please, please, please. And she was like, I don't have papers. Like, I'm literally,
like, what are you doing?
She was an illegal citizen at the time. Shout out to my mom, legal U.S. citizen.
She's a US citizen.
5 years ago, we were so proud of her. It was something she like worked extremely hard for, and it was awesome to see what she did, what she's doing in her life. She's 50 something. She's 30 something. But I know her age, but I'm not going to say it. But
it's in between
her
30
life
and
is
50.
just getting started.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I can appreciate about my mom. Mom, your life is just getting started.
Yeah.
But I was talking to these at-risk youth, and I was reminding myself of how crazy I was, but also, man, there was people that believed in me. There was a teacher, Mr. Smith. I will never forget him. 7th grade year. He was the only teacher to believe in me. Mr. Smith. I don't know if he'll ever watch this podcast, but I owe him so much. The only one I owe my life to is Jesus. I do owe Mr. Smith a big thank you. I've seen him at grocery stores, and I always stop him just to say, Mr. Smith, thank you for pouring into me. Because a lot of times, dude, I didn't know where I was going in life, especially at a young age when everyone's just coming at you, telling you you're never going to be anything. You and I are colorblind, being put in ASL. Is that what it's called? ASL? Something like that. Yeah. ESL. When you don't know how to speak the best English, when you can't write, when you can't read. I should still be there if it wasn't for if it wasn't for autocorrect.
Yeah.
But I just remember so many people kind of coming against us, I feel, as a family. A lot of times I felt our family was always targeted by other people. Like they didn't want to see us succeed. And that's the way it always felt. And I felt that for these at-risk youth. And what I told them and I'm coming back around is what you were saying about me roofing. I told them at the end of what I was saying, whatever it is that you do in life, it doesn't have to be about the money. You could be a principal. You could be a teacher. You can be a roofer. You can be an entrepreneur. You could do whatever you want to do. But whatever it is that you choose to do, be the greatest at it. Do not let somebody else tell you that just because you're doing labor work, working at a grocery store, that you do not matter.
Yeah.
That your position does not matter. Character character doesn't come naturally. It doesn't just come. People just have it. Have good character. Believe in yourself. Doesn't matter how much you get paid.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, be the absolute greatest at it, and don't let anybody make you feel less than.
Yeah.
Because we're all called by God for something. And I believe that God has a calling on everybody's life. It doesn't matter where you are. God has created you. He knitted you in your mother's womb. He believes in you. And if he believes in you, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the world's against you. If God believes in you, that's all you need. There are certain people that you've been thinking about, and just for a moment, think about the people that you feel had a head start. The friends that had the rich parents, the friends that had it made, the friends that didn't have divorced parents. Think about that friend, and you know what friend it is. They didn't have a head start. That's just life. Life is not fair. Life will never be fair. But the one thing is favor. Favor's never fair either. God provides favor for believers. And I'm just letting you know, like, as a Christian, I hope you catch this. Favor is not fair. There are certain people that you can reach that friend can't reach. And there are certain people that friend can reach that you cannot reach. The goal is not things. It's not money. It's God's purpose. So whatever you do, be the greatest at it.
Yeah.
110%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to one of our roommates. He was just asking me like about how our business was doing, our finances, all this other stuff. Like, because I just recently got engaged, and I was telling him,
the engagement.
I was talking to him about it, and I was like, yeah, like I got this ring, and this is before I asked, and he goes, man, like you could afford it? Like, what are you doing? And I go, what do you mean by that? And he was like, well, like how much do you have in your bank account, if you don't mind me asking? And I told him the number. And he like looked at me, and then I asked him like, how much do you have? He had more than me in his bank account saved up. And I go, what are you worried about? What, you have a home, you have a roof over your head, there's furniture in the house, there's food in the pantry, you have a vehicle that drives, and you have more in your bank account than me. What's stopping you from making any kind of move? And he just stood there. He goes, it's because I lack faith. And I just sat there and I was like, man, I was like, I don't want you to think that because I own a business or because I have this certain amount of money or like any of that does not dictate how I see my future and how I see my next move. Like it used to be circumstance, like every circumstance, that's how I felt. That was my mood. That's where my mentality was. Dang. And in that moment, I realized that the only thing that was lingering him or like stopping him from making the next move was his faith. When I heard it and I saw it right then and there, like our bank accounts are the same. We're under the same roof. We're equals right now, right here. Yet you think I have more only because of my faith. I'm like, dude, if you have
faith is a currency.
It's a currency. And I said, if you get your faith level to here, you'll be further than I am.
Dang.
Like and that's like such a weird concept because like all I have is my faith. This business could fail tomorrow. Like my car could break down tomorrow. It's like all I have is my faith. Yeah. And it's like my circumstances hardly dictate where my faith goes. And like if he had the same faith, he'd have more. Yeah. In every way. And he just sat there and he couldn't believe it that it was only the faith that he was missing out on. Yeah. Like the way I speak isn't based off of how well my business is doing. It's not how well my finances are doing. It's always because of like what God's doing in my life. Yeah. And that's what allows me to grow and move.
Yeah. It's a heart posture. It's crazy because he was feeling like he was living in lack, like lack of, and we were just living in abundance.
All the time.
Numbers are the same roof over our heads, like same everything. But we felt like we're living in abundance. And I think it was just knowing what God's doing and not so much of like my circumstances. And I think that's also back to like why I feel more filled up and more joyful is because I'm not like stressing about the future anymore. I've seen what God does in a year. I've seen what God does in a few days. In just 24 hours, I've had things happen to me and like changes my whole life. And
literally 24 hours.
Yeah, it was 24 hours. A crazy event. But it was when we got that federal building, like, God was just doing something and
go into it. Talk about that just a little bit.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Don't say names, but talk about it just a little bit.
Okay. So actually this is a huge God moment for me. We'll start where it all started. We're driving up to, what's the mountain?
Brundage.
Me and Isaiah are about to go snowboarding. And the last thing we wanted to do is pick up a business call. I didn't pick up this call. Missed the call. Goes to voicemail. Isaiah listens to the voicemail. I was still driving, and Isaiah says, "I'm gonna call this guy back
right now." I told him.
I want to start even before that.
What happened before that?
Someone had just broken up.
No, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. So we get this phone call. Isaiah is like, you know what? I'm gonna pick it up, and I'm like, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, I'm trying to go shred some gnar or something. I was like, stop talking about work. And he listens to this voicemail, and the guy just starts like listing off all these buildings, and Isaiah's looking him up. And then Isaiah like turns to me. He's like, dude, one of these is like a skyscraper, and he shows me, and it's like a 7-foot story building. And
7 foot.
7 foot. Sorry, 7 foot.
7 foot.
I go. It was almost another. Sorry, 7 stories up. What is it? 100 feet.
Yeah, 105 feet or
something. And I remember instantly, like, I just gave it up. I was like, nope. And I was like, oh, well. I was
we looked at each other. Should we even quote this?
Yeah, I was like telling him, I was like, oh, so like, whatever. Say no, like, we can't do that.
And then you called me. No, I was kidding.
And then
I seriously was like, no, I think we should look into this. We should really think about it.
Isaiah was actually considering it. It left my head immediately when I saw that picture of the building. We called Irvin, and Irvin was like, dude, let's just pretend. He was like, let's just pretend like we can do this building. So
let's just see what happens.
So let's
like,
just see. We're literally faking it. Yeah. So we set an appointment with this guy to go look at this building.
7 buildings. We only got 1.
Yeah.
But the biggest. So.
Yeah. 7 buildings.
But we're also
we got 2.
All the others.
Yeah, we got 2. We got 2 of them.
So it's the federal courthouse and the Boise Airport,
which is the huge
Boise Airport Control Tower.
Boise Airport Control Tower. Yeah.
Control Tower.
But so we go hit the mountain. We come back down, and like we're still kind of not really believing for it. Just you know,
It was a church camp too. We were at a church camp, so we're
kind of excited. Like, I was kind of excited that we even got the opportunity.
Yeah,
that's
call.
as much as it was to me. It's like, oh, it's just an opportunity. And so time comes around. We all show up, meet this guy Patrick, and the first thing he says to me, he walks up to me, he goes, "Do you know what your name means?" Oh, actually, no. This is what he said. He said, "Hi, Patrick." I go, "Hi, Zuriel," and he goes, "What?" He's like, "That's not your name."
Yeah.
And he was like, Zuriel. And I was like,
Patrick is the guy that called you.
Yeah, Patrick. So Patrick called us. Zuriel. We go meet up with him to give these quotes, and he's like, "Your name's Suriel," because he's Mexican, so he's like kind of bashing on me for saying it. Zuriel. But he was like,
we got used to it.
Yeah. He was like, "Do you know what your name means?" And I was like, "Yeah, it means God's my rock." And he's like, "Yeah." And it just, from right there, it just sparked like an awesome conversation. He's a Christian. We got to talk about what he's doing over at his church and how he's a part of youth.
He was, and we're a part of youth.
It was fully God.
It was all about God. Irvin was just like, you know, doing his thing, talking about God. And Isaiah
had an
like
iPad writing numbers down,
running in circles, like losing his
I'm
mind.
looping around these buildings trying to figure out how much we're going to charge.
I'm like sitting there just kind of tagged along with Irvin, kind of chatting it up with him. Turns out I knew the guy. I met him through another ex. But I actually played ping pong with him.
Really?
Yeah, I played ping pong with him.
Years before.
That's like the only time I met him.
Wait, like
he
the game?
wrecked me.
Yeah.
He wrecked me
like
at ping pong.
The game.
Ping pong.
Ping pong pong?
I was like, yeah, what's so confusing? Ping pong. But yeah, so like, yeah, goes super well. Still we're pretending like we knew what we were doing. Had no idea. We're looking at this.
We drove up to this building, looked up, and we just all looked at each other.
5 months into our business.
Irvin goes, just count the windows. Just count. Dude, the whole thing is glass. I was like,
and these windows aren't just windows. They're
like
twice my size.
Yeah, they're
twice
like
the
10-foot
size.
windows.
Yeah. You can't touch them end to end. They're huge windows. The whole thing is covered in glass.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're
done. 5 months into our business.
Yeah,
we were just cleaning
in.
houses. Now we're looking at this skyscraper.
Yeah, we've never watched a YouTube video on high rise.
Like, pretending.
Yeah.
And so like a few months go by, we get done with the quote. Whatever. We don't even know if we're gonna get the job. A few months go by, like we kind of go back and forth with this guy about like the quote. Whatever.
We were pretty close.
We send it in. We got pretty close. We guessed how much it was going to cost. Like we guess. We looked at the building, said we have no idea how much this is going to cost.
We have no long.
We're still this number
we don't know
out
how
there.
long it's going to take. Let's just hope. Let's hope we get it done.
Yeah, sounds right.
It was all God because we fell like in between the other two quotes that they're giving.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're a few months go by. It literally like leaves my mind. We completely forget about it. Not really talking about it anymore.
I didn't forget about it.
Well, Irvin didn't forget it. I was forgetting about it because I honestly just didn't. I had no belief.
Now we're back to the norm.
Even if we got the job, what we're gonna tell them? We don't know how to do this job. You know, even if we got the job. So it was like just way in the back of my head, and we're just coming into like we just got out of a slow season, the winter, and we're going into like where things should start picking up, and we're getting like no jobs, and we went door knocking at storefronts. And we're doing decent. We got a few jobs.
I landed $100 job. I thought I was.
Yeah, Isaiah thought he was on the top of the world when he landed $100 job.
Guys, I got.
Isaiah thought he was Andrew Tate.
Yeah. I thought I pulled one. Yeah, I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I'm walking, and you could get it from both of them. I never check my emails. I don't text. I'm the worst.
He sucks at his job.
The worst. That's my job.
He's not that guy. He's not
text
that
me.
guy.
I'm not your guy. Like, you need a quote? Don't text me. Text these guys.
It's my number, just so you guys know.
Yeah,
you guys will get a quote.
We literally had to change the number because I'm really bad at that. But for the first time ever, I never checked my emails for anything ever in my life. It's terrible to say, but I'm really bad with that stuff. For some reason, my phone goes off and I look and it says email. Don't know why.
Wait, go before. Have you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go there. So I got broken up with. The day before this. You ugly. The day before this, I got broken up with out of nowhere. It was like
no, it wasn't out of nowhere. You were broken.
Brokey. No, basically what the conversation was like. I am young and I don't fully like have it together, and I understood that. I'm like, I am young. I don't have it together. I know where you're coming from. If that's something you need, if you need, like, women do need support. They need someone that's going to take care of them. Right.
Oh, dang.
They do, right?
That's a little controversial there.
Look at that. Cancel.
I don't know.
No, yeah,
women don't need.
I think women,
desire.
men,
It's a desire.
everyone. I'm not getting canceled. No, but everyone desires to be taken care of in some sort.
Okay,
yes,
so
yes,
we have
100%.
specifically, they wanted to.
My
I'm not
wife,
saying
speaking
everybody.
from personal experience, my wife appreciates me working hard, bringing in a check, and doing those things.
Yeah.
My
those
fiance,
those are my
same thing.
tasks.
I should reword that. Not need, but
And
roles.
she
it's a
is
desire.
also going out there and doing those things, but she does appreciate me taking care of her 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, that is.
Yeah,
this,
but in
this is
this
true.
in this specific one, that's what I needed to have, and I didn't have that yet, And I was basically told that like I didn't have enough, and I understood. It wasn't like I was offended or like hurt, but that's what I was hearing. And in that conversation, all I could say to the person was, "God's my rock, and God's always been my rock, and He's been the rock for my family, my mom, and like He's always been my rock." And that's all that was coming out of my mouth. And that's all I could say.
So
and
that's how it went.
That's how it
Zuriel,
went.
I'm breaking up with you.
yeah.
God's my rock.
It went that way.
I'm on a firm foundation.
I didn't even get shooken up.
I ain't getting
felt like.
shaken up. I ain't a reed in the wind.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird because like, I should have been like really shooken up, but that's all that came out of my mouth was God's my rock. Like, don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Go to my room, and I should have this scripture memorized, but it's the like God's my rock. The first, like, I opened my Bible. That's all. Like, I went straight to my room. I was like, my life just got spun around, and I'm like getting thrown everywhere. I opened up my Bible, and it was God's my rock, my firm foundation, and it's like that's literally what my name means. Should know the scripture by heart. I don't because I'm a dummy. But it was like boom, all three of those. It was like they all kind of started lining up. Not even 24 hours later. What was it? Maybe like 10?
Yeah.
10 hours later, I get this email. Don't click on it. And it says Whitco, the company that had us come out and quote these buildings.
Yeah.
And it says, "Hey, I'm so sorry." And like my heart, like, oh, dang, we didn't get it. I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. We're going with another company. That's what's going through my head. And I keep reading. He's like, "I'm so sorry we didn't get to you sooner. I'm happy to announce."
Whoa.
Yeah. He's like, "I'm happy to announce that we'll be contracting you guys, and we're excited to work with you guys." And I was just like, I don't know, buzzing. I was freaking out. I was freaking out.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
So,
I was buzzing because
The one email he checks, bro.
I needed that. I needed that.
I was
bad.
in the middle of a sale.
So I was in the middle of, the biggest sale of our life probably, but I remember just sitting there and like, I felt like I had so much power. I was like, how am I going to tell these guys that this happened? And I called Irvin. I'm like, what did I say? Yeah.
Kanye.
I was trying to be
What
Kanye
would have
so bad.
happened? You said, what would have happened if we never got that Whitco job? And I was like, what do you mean? He's I guess we'll never know.
It's like a minute. It's like a long minute for you to really get it.
I still didn't get it. I was like, what are you talking about, bro?
Main
And
character mode.
I think I got it, but I didn't, like, it didn't hit me yet.
Yeah.
Like, dang, we just got awarded this crazy contract. On top of this crazy contract, we don't know how we're going to do the job. And I remember I was at Signature Roofing. I was in the office, and I went outside, and I was just hyped. Dude,
Yeah.
I was pumped. I was
hyped.
so pumped.
So before I get ahead of myself, going back though, it was those, like, God spoke to me like in three separate times with this building. First thing the guy says to me, "What's your name?" "God's my rock." Like, that was a big shift in my life already. I'm giving this quote to these buildings that we don't know how to do. Second, like, I'm telling this person that's telling me that I'm in lack, and I'm coming back to them saying like, "No, God's my foundation. Don't worry about me." Like, cause like they felt sorry for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like I'm solid. Like, I stand on a firm foundation. I don't know. Like, I honestly probably didn't feel that way, but that's all that could come out of my mouth. And I go to my room and that's this first scripture. And I think it's cool how God like works in threes, God tells me, "What's your name?" I'm telling this person, this is the thing. And, so yeah, guy, what's your name? Me, I'm saying, this is where I stand. And then going to my Bible and God's telling me, you stand on a firm foundation. And not even like 10 hours after that, solves the problem for me. He goes, you don't live in lack.
Yeah.
Here it is. You do have it together. Like, changed our life. It shifted my life completely. Like
19 years old by the time at the way.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. It's just, it was so it was all God. And like, I remember it just clicking like all together. It just happened all at once. And I was super overwhelmed and I knew it was a God thing. And just based off of those things, like it's so clear that, you know, God named me that for a reason. It was clear that why I was saying that night and why I opened to that scripture. And I was just mind blown. It was just one thing after another. And it's just crazy how I forget today that happened. That was like a miracle.
That was crazy.
Yeah. You know?
And then that's where Isaiah comes in. The logistics.
Logistics.
How to high rise was what I typed into my phone that day. It was pretty crazy just seeing all the different options. Like, let's get a crane. Let's get a little crane. Let's chill in a bucket. We're like, oh, let's get a little cradle. Let's throw each other up in the cradle. Let's look things up. And at the end of it, we just looked up high rise window cleaning. There's a course. Like, make a long story short, we flew all the way to Chicago, took a course.
How much we have to spend on that?
Altogether, I think we spent around like
the equipment, the whole
about
thing.
10 grand is what we spent.
Faith.
So I remember
at the time we didn't just have 10 grand.
Yeah, we didn't have 10 grand laying around.
We still don't have 10 grand.
We worked.
We got a little bit of equity. That's it. Clients maybe. But we, for some reason, you know, Irvin really put it on us. He's like, let's start saving. Even before we started that job, he's like, let's take some cuts here. And Zurio and I got put out of our comfort zone.
Put in consideration our situation. Just came out of like the roughest season we ever had.
Hardly working.
We're broke.
Yeah,
like, I felt broke. Obviously, I felt fine. Like I felt like, you know, I was eating, I was sleeping. But as far as like making another financial decision, we were not there.
Yeah, we were not there. It's just so crazy because like when we talk about my mom doing what she did for us, Zurio and I were just talking about we didn't have towels clean when we were kids. We would scream towel, you know, thwaya, and we would get brought over like a bed sheet. We try it.
They do not dry well. Literally try it out.
You know, I remember like going into the restroom hoping that someone would find a towel for me, and like going from that to, you know, having clean towels, having those things. Like it's just so crazy to me to just think that out of nowhere, God gives us this opportunity to, you know, even put ourselves in a position to go and give a quote, get the job, and then now we're trying to figure out how to pay for the equipment, the training. And like Zurio and I, our last paycheck right before we went to go get trained, we looked at each other. This is going straight to the bank. This is staying in the business account. Yeah. And after we paid for the equipment, after we paid for our flight, every single thing, we came down.
We didn't have to pay for a car. We got blessed.
We got a ride in Chicago. Someone drove us to where we were supposed to be because it was a 2-hour drive.
Should we talk about the motel?
Oh my gosh, this shady motel.
Nasty.
It was a $40 night. Our first night. Our first night was like the cheapest place we could find.
Chi City.
Not Chi City. It was in the middle of nowhere in Chicago.
It was the worst place I've ever been ever.
I don't even know why they had a motel out there.
There is, you know, who knows
there's
what
blood.
kind of hair.
Okay, there's blood on the bed sheets.
Yeah, and it was like, bad. Boogers. But skip over. We get down to our last day there. We fly back home. We're about to start our normal work week up. After we finish this, we have less than, I think it was like $200 in our account. And Zurio and I didn't get paid past month. We kept everything in the account. We came down to our last like $200. But we had every single thing that was needed. We got all of our equipment down to the very last dollar.
And God still provided.
We still provided. We had food. Yeah. We had meals. Everything we needed. Like it's just like when you live with just enough, when God starts to give you abundance, it's very clear. Even the small things, it's so clear that you have more than enough. Towels, a roof over your head, and food in your pantry. Like that's more than enough.
Yeah, 100%.
And God just continued to show us what it's like to live in abundance.
Yeah. I never forget, bro. I never forget. I remind myself all the time of where we come from, and I will never forget. I think it's a beautiful thing to us, bro, is we were broke.
Yeah. We showered together.
We showered together. We showered together till we were like 15, bro.
We slept on the same bed.
Yeah. Like, guys, like when I say like broke, one, we were broke, and then two, we also just loved hanging out. Like you can't separate our family. That is one thing I'm going to tell you guys right now. Our family, we might not be the wealthiest. We never were. And one day I believe that we are going to have financial freedom, but we were so wealthy in love. My mom did such an amazing job of loving us to the point where she's like, dude, my mom, when we say she's an angel, if you know my mom, she is an absolute angel. She is the best of the best, the cream of the crop. It does not get better than my mom. And then my sister, my brothers, my older brothers, like just my family, like the unity, my cousin Charlie, like the unity that my family holds is something that close. I don't see anywhere else. Like I go to other people's family's house and I can tell it's not the same. And that's one thing God always blessed us in was wealth and love and wealth and family. And that is something I'll never take for granted, but I will never forget being broke, because when you realize where you were and where God's taken you, that's where gratitude comes from. Once you forget your past, you are no longer grateful. It's kind of hard to be grateful.
Pick up a stone. Scripture says, pick up a stone to remember when God cleared the sea.
Pick up a stone before you throw it at before you throw it at her, so that you can remember. Now be grateful that you have been forgiven. Now that's not how the scripture went, but I'm saying, like that's the analogy is, okay, you forgot, pick up that stone. Remember where you were. Now throw it. Now throw it. You can't. You can't. Why? Because gratitude. Oh, wait, God. Okay, I'm going to pick up the stone. I'm going to throw it. Oh, wait, God, you rescued me. Oh, God, you redeemed me. Oh, God, you have brought me to where I am. You split the sea. Like, what? You made a way where there was no way? Yeah, no, I will always remind myself. God, and you know what's crazy? He's not done.
He's not done.
He's not done. You know, Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. That's God. God doesn't cuss, but he's not leaving. I'm not leaving. You know what I mean? Like, dude, God is never leaving. He's right here.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I was like, we only had $200, like $200 left. My mom told me stories about how she had $1 left in her pocket. Account zeroed out. She had $1 left at the end of the month. I'm like sitting here, even in the small things where I'm like, oh man, we only had $100. My mom was living it at a fraction. And she thanked God, like, I have $1 left.
And we didn't know we were broke. We didn't know we were broke.
I remember eating 2 chicken sandwiches like, dang, son, like, this is crazy.
And then I would look over, my mom's not eating.
That's crazy. My mom wasn't eating.
We would share. We always
she would get us a large fry. She'd keep it at her side so she could get a few in.
We'd get 1 large fry and 1 large drink. I don't know any other family that would have 5 kids. Irvin was probably 14 at that time. I was probably
Helen was 17, whatever.
And we were all sharing that same drink, refilling it over and over again. $1 drink and then $1 cheeseburgers and $1. And it's just to see that, like,
McDonald's was a luxury. We're eating what we have at home, which
in general was a luxury. Eating out in general is a luxury. 100%.
It's crazy.
All that to say, shout out Sissy Helen, love you. Mom, love you. Stepdad Jerry, love you. Real dad Reynaldo, love you. Our family is just incredible. Charlie, freaking love you. Like the potential that our family has, and also your guys' families. But I'm just speaking for my family for once, for a quick moment. You guys can absolutely change the world. And I believe that to be true. 100%. Bado, love you. Lanyard, love you. R.I.P. Rest in peace. No, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. 100%. Something that I did want to talk about was, now that we've gone through all that stuff, this is by far my favorite podcast, by the way. Like, I loved my last guest. It's been absolutely awesome. They're great, but it just doesn't get better than this, dude. This is family. This is good. And it's cool because this is tangible. Like, people can relate. We'll never, I think, being humble or living in humility, you will never arrive. Like, you never want to be that guy. But yeah, so the other thing's he's main character right now.
All right, guys. Pray for me because I've been main character lately. I've been walking around.
Say that quote.
What quote?
Oh
yeah. So like,
say, write this down.
Basically, write this down. So if you're at the top and I'm not there, you're not at the top.
He said that off camera. I genuinely think he was being serious.
No, I was not being serious.
No, but something I want to talk about is, as we close, is one, guys, this is so like you guys can, we're all in the same level. Like all my friends, people 25 and under, 30 and under, like we're all same level right now, which is super cool. Like the last guys I've had on, it's been great because there's so much wisdom, because there's levels, right? They're ahead of us, and those people are important. But it's also important to see, oh wait, you guys are 20, not even 21 yet, 22, 25, and you guys are already doing this. It provides a lot of hope for young people, which is super dope. But on the logistical side, Isaiah, what was that thing you said off camera that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, so I've realized, and this is something that you've really put into us, was like the small things. If you improve those things, it'll improve your business far more than introducing new innovative things. And it's like, we did try that. We tried to innovate new things into our business in the beginning, but it was always honing into the smaller things that brought us so much further. And it's like, one of those things was like sales. I wish we would have really, pushed into our sales. My brother and I, when we first started, like he wanted us to. Now we are, we're better at it. But it's like, it's so crazy how if you just apply that anywhere, if you just improve the small little habits, the small little things you do, that'll increase wherever you're at. That small improvement or that small basic thing that you improve will get you further than introducing anything new. So just focus on that.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. People that are listening to this that have been like kind of going back and forth on starting a business, start the business.
Get the LLC.
Let everything else figure itself after. Like it'll all come together. Get the LLC, get the EIN, like get those things figured out and just roll with it.
Yeah.
Like introduce it to people. Let people know, hey, this is what I'm doing. My wife hates it, but every time she says she wants to do something, or anytime I say I want to do something, I just start telling everybody. One, because I feel like it holds me accountable. That's actually the only one. It holds me accountable. Now people are expecting it. Like they're like,
that's something I wanted to talk about is I want people to like be around you or even just get to watch your content, because it's different when someone says they want to do something or they're going to do something. Like anybody could say it and do it. With you, it's like when you say you're going to do something, it gets done within like hours. And that's what's changed like my everything. And when you say something and you're right, when you just need to get someone to believe in you, when you say like, Zuriel, you could do this, dude, it shifts my mentality completely, because it's coming from someone that does it when they say they're going to do it, and they know they could do it when they want to do it. And it's just like, that's powerful when you're a man of your word, and like, that's what you are, as a man of your word. When you get someone around that's like that says they're going to do something and they do it, they just point in a direction and you go, like you're gonna make it out, like on top. And it's just so crazy that I have you in my corner, not only as like a mentor, but as a brother. It's like, I feel so like I'd feel selfish if I didn't tell anybody about you. I feel like, I'd feel very selfish if I didn't try helping you, like getting you out there. And I just want people to be around you, because they will grow towards their dreams. You have a way of pulling it out of them, like what they really want, and then pushing them towards it. And it does stink sometimes. It's pressure, and that's like what we need. But coming from you, someone that does it when they say they're going to do it, this podcast, you said you were going to do it, you lined it all up, it happened. The business, we said we were going to do it, you lined it all up, it happened. And just all these things, we're even starting like interior cleaning. Within weeks, it's happening. It's just like,
got a DBA. Shine.
It's nuts. It's nuts, and it's like that.
Introduce our very new.
Again,
start innovating.
Again, what I'm trying to close off is like, take me for example, least qualified. Like grew up in special ed up to high school, couldn't read, couldn't write, still can't read or write. Sometimes like
right.
Autocorrect. Grammarly. Like that's what I use all the time. Without those things, like I am just the least qualified person, and you brought something out of me, something that can do it. And it's just, I don't know. I really would encourage people to find people like you, find someone that says they're going to do something and does it. you know, and there's people that, you know, they make it and they got, like, they didn't get lucky, but they just make it in one area. Find someone that says, hey, I want the best marriage, and they have the best marriage. Hey, I want the best relationships with my friend, and he has the best relationship with their friend. Hey, I want a business. He goes and gets that business. Hey, I want to be the best salesman. He becomes the best salesman. And it's just like, it's so real when you say something. And for me, that's why, and going back to like what you said with like believing yourself, I think another part of that is like, you really do need someone to believe it for you. For you, it's like natural. Like you're ready. It's not that you believe in yourself, but you know where you stand. You know that when you say you could do something, it ends up happening. And that's what I needed. And I feel like that's where I'm growing, is like when I say something, it has to get done immediately, or it's going to grow on that idea of like nothing gets done when I say it's going to happen. And you grow more often on the idea of like when I say something, it happens, because you just go after it. And I don't know, I feel like we all need a little bit more of that.
We're going to LA next month.
Yeah. And exactly. So and just another example of Irvin pushing me towards my dreams is I love clothing. I love design, and I want to be in the art scene. And I think God just, you know, pulled me into this entrepreneurship, mainly for like my brother Isaiah, who I found has this passion for entrepreneurship. And I think you're a fool if you like roll your eyes at him and don't want to listen.
Is an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Like, I love him all the time. I hate him sometimes, but only because he makes me better.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to that. You know, I get myself around a lot of people, but when it's coming from a younger brother, sometimes my pride gets in the way. But if you are around Isaiah, it's the same thing. This guy is an absolute monster. Isaiah is going to run more businesses than I do. He's probably going to be more successful than I am. No, he is going to be more successful than I am. He's going to be doing things way greater than I am, because he is so passionate about entrepreneurship, and he's passionate about bringing people with him. And so am I. That's my desire. My desire is to show other people it's possible. Yeah. Like, it's to bring the best out of people. Isaiah is different. He can run a business, and he's going to run it very, very well. It's going to be successful. Yeah. My desire is only literally to make the best version of Isaiah possible, the best version of Sudia possible, the best version of one of my best friends, Ricky, possible, the best version of my wife possible. Like, that is my greatest thing, is trying to bring people to what they're called to do. Yeah. And that's what you're calling out. And thank you for that. Yeah. But Isaiah is an absolute monster.
Yeah. Just like side note on Isaiah, like, I think a lot of people will like, you listen to him long enough and you'll be like, oh, he's a know-it-all, or he's prideful or whatever. But really really knowing what Isaiah, who he is behind closed doors, and how he talks about his friends and his family with like a passion of just wanting them to be better, I know his heart. And I think people, like, again, you'll have a blindfold of pride on, and when Isaiah comes at you, it's like he's attacking my morals, he's attacking my character, he's saying I'm not enough. But Isaiah really also wants to see the most out of people, and he just wants to share information. He has like a passion for teaching, and you know, we talk about it all the time. I'm like, Isaiah, you just need to maybe learn how to like address it better, because I know it fills him up, and it's a passion of his to teach. And I don't know if you guys know him or you guys run into him, like, I would encourage you to, you know, have grace for, you know, how hard he might come at you.
He's gonna come at you hard,
but Isaiah will fill you up with just knowledge and wisdom if you just let him. And it's made me who I am today. And you know, I'm not who I am today without him. You know, he's just like my second half. You know, when he's up, I'm up. When he's down, I'm down. And it's just crazy to have this, like, have the two best, like, people ever, you know, most encouraging, like, just the best people I can think of in my head. Like, I couldn't think of better characters to be in my life, and they're my freaking brother. I don't even need to work hard to like text him or have him in my life. And like, you know, I do feel overly blessed, but like, man, I wish I could say like, oh, I went after it and I found those mentors, but God just really did it for me. So I would just encourage people to pray that God makes a way, and God puts people in your life, and put pride down, pick up humility, and approach those people that you know God put in your life. You know?
He wants to cry.
Is my voice cracking?
He wants to cry.
That's an inside joke. Irvin was a bully. He finds a way to make you cry for no reason.
I can still make people cry. I can make you cry right now.
Yeah. If Irvin just gets in your head and he just says, "Do you want to cry?" You start like tearing up.
You're gonna cry.
It's so weird.
But you know, with all that being said, I am the best one here.
Yeah.
No,
well, bro, like God had to do something. He did something with your face, so he had to give you something else. I'm just kidding.
Too low. Too low.
Look at my nose. Look at my nose. I'm playing.
What I really wanted to say was, I am super thankful to be brought out of where I used to be.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. I said, look at his face. But this guy doesn't do nothing. But look at his face. He got the best looks, but he don't do nothing.
You don't do nothing. You don't do nothing.
I'm just playing. He said,
Okay, so when I explain to people our relationship, it's so interesting for them to be baffled by the fact that our brothers are our best friends. Like it's as true as it gets. When we golf together, we're just friends. We're just
yeah.
I don't even know what to call it, but it's like even with my closest friends, even my old close friends, I just don't find that relationship to be what it used to be. As in, like, I see my brothers as equals at this point, and it's so crazy to think that all because of like this title of business owner, it changes the dynamic of the room with other people.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not even just the business owner. Maybe it's just the faith that I have. Maybe it's the
way you're carrying yourself.
Yeah, the way I carry myself. It's like, it's so insane to think that after this shuts off, I'm going right back to cleaning.
We're literally going right back to work.
I'm going right back to work. Yeah, I'm
Guys, we were up at 5:45 this morning just to make this, and then now we're gonna go back to work.
Yeah, and it's like the other day I was cleaning a toilet. It's like I'm no better. I'm no further. My bank account isn't. My roommate proved it to me. We're no different. The only difference is faith.
Yep.
You know, I have faith that God's going to take me further. I have faith that God's going to grow me in places. And it's like, without these two, I wouldn't have been able to see that. I wouldn't have been able to grow in those areas. It's like, I'm so thankful to have people who show me not my potential. God doesn't, potential means nothing. It's like, have faith in what God has for you.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about potential? Everybody has potential, but do you have faith?
Yeah.
You have faith to go and step into that.
Everybody has potential, but do you have faith?
Yeah.
That's
So
bomb.
another thing you said you see us as equals, but I think what it really is that we see like the highest version of each other. And like I hold Irvin like so high up. I hold you so high up.
I hold everybody so high up.
And you guys do the same for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's what grows us. It's like, if Irvin's doing better than me, I'm not going to feel a certain way. I think the natural way to feel is like, you know, you hear it all the time, like people want to see you good, but they don't want to see you do better. It's like, I feel like I'm surrounded around people that genuinely want to see me do better. Yeah, they might wrestle with the flesh every now and then and be like, oh, like he's doing better. Like, I don't feel good about it. But at the end of the day, you guys lay down, you guys pick up your cross and you like die to yourselves.
Yeah.
And it's fully on why am I here to like, for Isaiah or Irvin, like, why has God put me in their life? And you get to just be, you know, just like, I don't know, freaking, I don't know how to put it.
Jabajadu.
Just you know, a step. Like, you're just helping with that one step in their life, and you don't care if it's going further than you, or if they're doing better than you. It's like you're simply just there to win with them, and
100%.
And I just don't see that anywhere, except for like right here between the three of us. Is like we all see each other.
Win with us? Oh, watch us win.
Exactly. Win with us or watch us win.
No,
but that's what we have. Is people that push each other past themselves.
100%.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, it is hard to do. But going back, I know you guys think the same way. But all my friends, all my peers, people around me, I don't care how good you're doing. I don't care how bad you're doing. Mm-hmm. We're all the same. Yeah. Even Manzo said it. Finances doesn't matter. Dude, everybody should be treated the same. Mm-hmm. And I'm right there with them. Mm-hmm. I don't care where you are in life. Guys, we are equals. We're all just people trying to have less issues at the end of the day. That's all it is. Yeah. And I think together, loving and pushing each other and encouraging each other, together, we are going to be worried about less things. And that's a focus that the world should be taking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? 100%. But we do got to get to work. Yeah. We're running a little bit behind. But yeah, this isn't the last you see of us three. Aqua is just the beginning. Then it's going to be Shine, interior cleaning, Aqua, exterior cleaning. Then it's going to be, I'm not going to give away his brand name, but guys, what we have in the works, you're going to remember the Angulo name. That's something that I think we're all very passionate about, is we want people to know that we came to play. Like, we didn't just
We came out the mud.
we came out of mud. No, but we came to play. Like, it wasn't just, oh, whatever, we've arrived and now we're here, now we're working, now we own businesses.
Yeah.
No, trust me when I say this. This is just the beginning for the Angulos, for anybody that watches this content. Like, this is just the beginning. What God's gonna do in our lives is gonna be so, oh my gosh, there's not even a word that can describe it. What God's going to do in our lives and through your life is going to be absolutely crazy. I believe it. I know they believe it, and I hope that you believe it. And we've never done this, but I almost feel like we should end in prayer. I know this is a little bit weird, but I just want to pray for you guys, and I want to pray for the audience. But yeah. God, we just thank you for everybody that's watching this video. God, I just thank you for my brothers. God, I just pray that your will be done in everyone's life. I pray that you show up in ways that you've never shown up in finances, in family, in marriage, in relationships. God, I just pray an overflow of your Holy Spirit, an overflow of your love, of your encouragement. God, I'm praying that people that watch this video are going to be impacted in more than just the finances, but God, in everything, in every aspect of their life. God, your will be done. We're only here for you. We're only here to grow the kingdom. And God, we believe that this is just the start. So God, we thank you. We thank you for everybody that watched this video. We thank you for my family. I just pray, safeness over everybody. I just pray a safety protection over everybody. And yeah, it is all going to be done in your beautiful, glorious name. Amen.
Amen.
Guys, thank you for watching this video. It has been absolutely awesome. Guys, thank you for coming on. We're going to be on more often. This was great.
Yeah.
But guys, we love you. We care about you. We're praying for you. Keep watching this video. Keep watching this content. We're just getting started. I took a little break, but I'm back. I'm back. We went to Europe. I went to Europe with my wife. We went and saw some concerts. We've been spending a lot of time together, which just pulled away from this, but it's always worth it. My marriage comes first. So we're back to this content. We're back to creating. We're back to getting down and getting ready. So yeah, we thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.